to rewatch it.
You
got it. Leave meeting.
Do not consent.
So basically, a super simple explanation is Will is the game master, so therefore he will create a story for us, our characters, to live in. Then we will basically try to do things. And in order to do things, we have to roll dice to see if we successfully do them. That's like a super simple.
Yeah, like very basic, right? Yeah.
So that's why we said before, it's like, oh, if you wanted to be a good guy, you can totally be a good guy. If you want to be a mass murderer and just start killing everyone, that is allowed in the game.
Not on my ship. It's not.
Adrian will immediately have you arrested and thrown into the brig, but you are allowed to do that as a character.
Yep.
Again, because what it is I don't know if anyone needs the sheet. See what I mean? It's, you got the station, and then you have each of the things. And it gives you a summary of what those actions are. For example, someone throw out something they would want to do.
Murder.
Eat pizza.
Murder. Let's say, all right, Jhon, what would you be murdering them with? A knife?
The pizza.
With a pizza?
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, there you go. So that would be under security and daring, to attack or defend in melee combat. Okay. So you would look up. Do you have your character sheet in front of you?
I don't think anybody has character sheets yet, do we?
No,
that is correct.
No, I haven't given them to you yet.
character sheets out. Yeah.
I have them. I don't. You don't have them.
Lame.
So will you? Because I remember Michael's, for example. Because Michael, you had a 10 for daring.
I had a 10 for daring. Yes.
10 for daring and 5 for security.
Yes.
So therefore, that's a 15. So he would, because you always default to rolling 2d20, and he would be trying to roll a 15 or less. So if he rolls 1 through 15, that's a 1 success per dice. If he rolls a 1, that's an automatic double success. So that 1 dice counts as 2 successes, or 4 for the 2 ones. And then if there's a focus, like he has a focus in hand-to-hand combat or something.
Culinary arts.
Yes, culinary
delivery fees.
That means if he rolls a 5 or less, because his security is a 5. If he rolls a 5 or less, it counts as a double success instead of just the 1.
So if he has a focus in whatever we said, deliveries, he could. If he rolls a 1, he gets a 4. He gets 4 successes because of it being like a
If he rolls if he rolls 2 1s, he gets 4 successes.
Well, I think if you roll a critical with a focus, I think you get 4 successes on one dice.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah,
cool. So that's why you want.
I think
to use the focuses, because as you can see, you get so much better chances of getting more successes, which is, on the one hand, it makes it more likely for you to succeed in doing this thing of attacking the person with the pizza in this case. The other thing is all of the extra successes go towards momentum, which is cheats. So sometime in the future, you're like, oh man, I really need to get a success on this. So I'm going to use a momentum in order to get extra dice to give myself even better chance of succeeding. And there's other things that you can do with your momentum. I don't have the sheet on me right now, but it's like you can create advantages where you can literally tell Will, oh, I'm spending a momentum to basically change reality slightly to make it better for me to do something. You can buy more dice, you can do special moves, you can make it more difficult for the opponents. You can do all these things for spending your extra momentum.
Yeah, so basically like a really good common thing that happens usually in the game is like, oh, something happens. Somebody's boarded the ship, and it's like, oh, but I want to have this thing like preset so that if sensors go off, that it finds like an intruder, like the doors immediately lock. And you're doing that on the fly, and it's not something that we've like pre-discussed. then you could be like, I'll say, well, we'll spend a momentum and we'll let that happen. And so that's all you would do. You would spend this like token that you have in front of you, depending on how much you have, and then it would change the narrative.
Do we build our own momentum for the character as well as for the ship, or is it just for the
It's
ship?
a bank.
Yeah, it's like
all characters go
Bank.
into the same bank, and then we
Okay.
all can take from that bank.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think you can only have a maximum of 5, like in total, but you can have spillover, but it's like considered like immediate spend.
Okay.
So you can have like 9 momentum, but you're only banking like 5 of them. And you can spend
example of the spillover is I have a trait where if I get a success while trying to get information, I get a free token. But
Right.
I can't bank that. I have to use that to get information.
Right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. That's cool.
Obviously,
So
this stuff will take time to remember. And,
Oh
like,
yeah,
it'll be a while before we.
And
know what we're
you had a
doing.
question?
we won't be rolling it all this session, right? So
I
none
don't
of this
think s-
information is
I
super
don't think so.
pertinent right now.
I mean, it's possible because if you say I want to do something,
Can you
and
get
it's
it?
something that you have to roll.
True.
You know.
Yeah.
But Will saying he didn't design this to need to be.
Yeah. It's basically if somebody wants to be like, I want to slap them with a slice of pizza, I'm going to make you roll for it. So
Good. I have none of that information available.
I just picture like all this like we're talking about it, and then we're gonna get in and be like, yeah, but we're not gonna use any of that tonight. And then Will's gonna be like, all right, now the ship's being boarded. It's day 1.
Surprise!
I think there was something else I was going to warn you guys. Oh, make sure the entire time we're playing, you're trying to sell stuff to Will. So, for example,
Sell it.
we can create advantages. Again, we can say, oh, I really want this to happen. You can also help each other. So, for example, if like Jhon is fixing something, then I could try to help him do the task. I can roll dice to add to his
Mhm.
dice, but I can also sell it that I can help him in a different way. Like, oh, I only have a 2 for engineering. That's not going to help him. Oh, but I'm going to use the internal sensors, which is a science skill, in order to help Jhon. And if I can sell it good enough for Will to accept it, then I can use the skills I prefer to help Jhon instead of having to use engineering.
Gotcha.
And remember, just keep selling it. So if I go, oh, I'm going to help Jhon, then Caleb, if you can figure out a way to sell it, you're like, no, I'm going to help him too. And then Adrian, you're like, I'm going to help too. Because until Will says, nope, you're at your limit, literally everybody can keep being like, oh, I'll help.
Get the popcorn.
Yeah. There was I went on Reddit and I asked, and this guy called Writer's Block came back and said that basically the best thing is like, even though the core rule book uses a lot of like science and control equals this type of thing or whatever the combos are, like it's up to your guys, preference really. It's like Andrew's saying, you can sell it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh no, I don't. I like, oh my. It's like okay, it's not Ashley, and it's not a medicine roll, right? Or it is a medicine roll, and it's not Ashley. Is what I meant to say. And it's like, well, my medicine's really terrible. It's like, well, maybe you could do a workaround and use something else.
You want to use a heated blade to burn the rule. So you're like, oh, it's a security thing. It's a weapon, so it's a security skill instead of a medical.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
As long as Will accepts it, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
That's all I've been trying for years is acceptance.
Nope.
Another thing because you all have remember the values you made, right?
Oh yeah.
Your quote.
So
memorized it.
If a situation comes up that involves your value. For example, let's say the value is I hate Kardashians. I don't think anyone made that value, but let's say that's
actually mine.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
And so let's say it is yours, Caleb, and you're fighting a Kardashian. You can say, oh, this has to do with my value. I hate Kardashians, so I'm going to use my I forgot what it's called. determination point.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody
yeah.
starts with one determination point. So at any time during the mission until we reset, until we basically sleep and reset, you can use your determination point if it has to do with your value. And that's a super momentum.
Yeah.
That's like if you buy a dice, you can then pick what the dice rolls. You don't even have to roll it. You're like, I'm going to buy a dice and it's going to be a 1.
Right.
We're gonna need all the momentum we can get to keep up with the Cardassians.
That's true.
Yes.
You can for this.
So that's the values. Again, you only start with 1. You can get more if you challenge a value. So, for example, if Caleb hates Cardassians, if he meets a friendly one, he can say, "Oh, this challenges my value." Cross it off and delete it, and then he gains another determination point to use.
I love that he hates him though. I love it. It's just,
Yeah, I would never trade it in.
So, any questions so far?
well, probably everything, right? Because
I'm saying of what I've explained so far. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Right now, give it a month, and you'll
Okay.
need a refresher.
I've watched enough Stranger Things to know how D&D works, so I think we're good.
Okay. Like I said, if nothing else, just remember, sell it to Will. Just sell. Something pops in your head, you're like, oh, this would be a great idea. Be like, Will, this is happening, and then you find out from Will what it costs.
Yeah, and to Caleb's point was, not that I don't think anybody's really ever played one of these, but in Dungeons and Dragons, a 20 is great and a 1 is terrible, but in this, it's the reverse. Yeah. So you want those 1s.
Oh, yeah, because that's a good point. If you roll a 20, it's a super fail, so you get consequences.
Right.
And Will gets to decide what those consequences are.
Right. So it's like a complication can form, and either I can just bank threat, which is like a game master momentum. So I can change the narrative. Like you're like, oh, I'm doing this thing. Like, okay, well, I'm going to spend X amount of threat, and now I'm going to do this thing to you. Or it's like, oh, you succeeded, but this thing, whatever the.
Yeah.
It's like a thing to make it harder for you.
You succeeded, but you cut yourself while you're doing it. So
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh, you used the blade to heal the wound, and you did, but it's like they're internally bleeding. So it's like they can move, but they're sick. So yeah.
Tried to attack the pizza, and then I ended up with internal bleeding. No, it's
Exactly. You ate some of the
Third-degree
Keep
burns
watching.
from the cheese.
And that's
burning.
because I was thinking that's either Will says a difficulty, like for example, sprinting. Sprinting has a difficulty of 0. So you
Right.
have to roll dice to see if you've succeeded, but if you get even a single win, you do it, right?
Yeah.
But one of the big reasons why you roll is because if you get a complication, Will can be like, oh, you just immediately face plant.
Right. Or everybody sees you running or whatever.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. But because it's a difficulty 0, you can roll to make momentum, right? So if you roll and it's like I don't know what it would be considered, probably like control daring or security daring would be like a run. So it's like you would roll your two d20s to see what your results are, and if you fall within your range and you succeed, now you've made 2 momentum because it was difficulty 0. So sometimes doing things that don't need to be rolled, like Andrew's saying, like running or poking in something to like move the ship like this, just like go that direction, you can roll for it to get momentum.
And if you roll 1s, then it's like bam, instantly 4
Right.
momentum.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of like the bare bones of how the game works.
Yes.
There's a lot of other nuances, but that's pretty much day in, day out, full gameplay is you're going to be looking at your attribute and your discipline. And I'm going to say, pick this one and pick this one, and you're going to add those numbers together. And that's what you have to roll, that or under. That's pretty much it.
And you always roll 2 dice. Unless
Yeah.
it's something special, like you're helping somebody or you're doing some weird
I
abnormal
think
task.
assist rolls. Yeah, I think assist rolls are 1, right?
Yes. Assist rolls are 1. If you're doing the task yourself, you always start with 2.
Yep. So it's like essentially you're rolling for attribute for 1 and rolling discipline for the other, basically.
So that's good. So therefore, when Will says, "Oh, this is a difficulty of 4," it's like you have to buy more dice or hope that you get really good rolls on your two dice.
Right. Or hope somebody can assist you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how that works. Boom.
And remember, Will's not going to give information away for free, so you got to be asking those questions.
Except I'm terrible at this, and I'll give all of it away.
Very
Good.
I'll be like, "Oh, he's behind this thing," and they're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have told him that."
It's all right. That's what this is.
Yeah, it's a learning curve just for me too, just like anybody else's.
It's also just a game.
What?
How dare you?
Should be like, turn it, leave me.
So well, right before we get started, are we doing permadeath?
We can. I mean, I don't. It's up what everybody else wants to do. So
How do people feel about permadeath?
I have big plans for it.
Just immediately killing the character off. Just no, he's dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense. I mean,
Sorry, you said the Romulans are here? Okay, well, I will jump out of the window.
but
yeah,
joke's on you as you roll a 20 and then you don't make it fully out.
Yeah, I break my neck on the glass.
oh, you didn't, but you're not dead. You're just paralyzed in
You're just
whatever.
gonna
room
suffer. You're gonna suffer like Captain Tyke
Oh,
the rest of your life.
that's good.
Oh,
It's really good.
All right.
So, Will, question quickly.
yeah.
What is the facial hair requirements for the Starfleet?
You can pretty much have anything, but it doesn't really get well. No, it does. I would just say trimmed. It can be crazy. You can have like a huge beard, but it's
Okay.
like really well maintained.
Okay. Because everybody I've seen is always shaved.
Yeah. Well, if you think about Riker, right, like from Next Gen, he's got a beard.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
He does.
Not a lot of people do, but they do. But they're all. It's very well kept. But there's
Worf has
characters.
facial.
Yeah, Worf has like a goatee type thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, Jhon.
Very
But
handsome, yes.
that was. But there's characters called Tellarites, and like they literally have their beards like go down to like the middle of their chest. So
Nice.
Space
didn't know if-
lords.
I just didn't know if there was a specific requirement for Starfleet.
no, pretty much you can. It's I mean like for men and stuff and women if they have long hair, it would just be in a when you're like on duty, it would just be like any type of like professional setting where it would be like up. It wouldn't be like on your.
Yeah.
That's like pretty much the only.
Okay.
Yeah, you just want to be presentable. You just don't want to look like you're some random hobo.
Good. All right. Cool.
I'll make sure my feathers are nice and fluffed.
Exactly. Well. Yeah. I want the I can't think of the word Medbay to be like this beautiful like foresty scene. Like she's brought in all of these things to make it look. It'd be cool.
I just picture the medbay being just a bunch of nests that you have to lay in to get healed.
I love it.
So okay. Anything more before I go forward?
Perhaps a recap of what happened to our
Sure.
ship previously.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Yeah. So okay. So how well, let me just,
For those watching at home,
for those who are previously.
I
meant.
So the show Enterprise has taken place, and it's 12 years after that's when we're set. That's when the whole campaign is going to take place, is 12 years after the show. So about almost 1 year from tonight's episode, it's like 11 months ago, the USS Drake was under Captain, I gotta find the guy's name. I should have had it written here. Here it is. Where is his name? There it is. Varsh, Captain Varsh. So he had a full crew complement, and he was just any other captain, just like Knightley is, just like other captains out there. And Jhon served on the Drake previously as a chief engineer. And in the 12 years of since the show went off the air, they were able to make the Corps of Engineers were able to make an advancements of having warp 6, because in the show it was a big thing that they had warp 5. So that's like the engine that they have, that's the whole purpose, like that's an accomplishment. So they were able to achieve warp 6 relatively quickly. It wasn't too hard of a thing to achieve, but now they're trying to do warp 7. So they go to a planet called Corden, which they had the ability of warp 7, but they're not a part of the Federation. They just are a mining planet where they can they kind of trade with all species. Anybody who's willing to trade with them, that's what they do. So the Federation kind of did this partnership where they would kind of send aid and any other type of diplomatic and ambassadorial type things that they needed as a planet. The Federation would be willing to do if they would help lend warp 7 technology to the Federation. So they chose to send the Drake there and have them work on the thing. So the entire crew of the Drake were on Corden and on the ship, and they can go back and forth. They worked on it, or they had shore leave. They did many different things. So in the time that it took, because it took about a year to do, they finalized it, and they had a new warp 7 engine, and they were like perfect. And they had sent people from Starfleet headquarters there to just like oversee it and basically just kind of do handshake type of things, like just meet and greets type of things that weren't necessarily super needed, but just try to be pleasant and be thankful for their assistance. So when the Drake departed Corden and they got far enough away to use warp from the system, when they went into warp, the ship didn't get incredibly far, and next thing on the Federation's point of view, all they get is this like really, really brief, few word like SOS kind of message from the Drake, basically saying like help, like something is happening. There's not a lot of details given. So the Starfleet headquarter representative, Professor Tun, who was at Corden, he leaves in a shuttle to go to the Drake, but he doesn't, for whatever reason, there's no like, he didn't show up on the Drake. He's not on the Drake. There's like pieces of the shuttle missing, so he's assumed missing, and they don't really know what happened to him. So because he didn't show up, they sent more the Federation sent more units, security and medical teams to the Drake. And when they got there, the entire crew were dead. But when they were going through each thing, they found Jhon, and he wasn't dead. He was heavily injured, but he wasn't dead. And of all the crew, he was the only one alive. So Ashley, this character, Laesa, was a part of the medical staff that went on to the vessel, and she was one of the few staff members to discover Jhon's body. So they did a full-blown investigation into the ship, into Jhon, like everything, and all that came back was that all of the crew had like internal brain hemorrhaging, and they all died like pretty quickly. It wasn't instantaneous, but it also wasn't like hours of pain. It was pretty quick. And as you'll learn tonight, when actual Jhon describes his physical appearance to, you'll understand that he has like makeshift antennae for an Andorian, and they believe that that's what saved him from whatever happened. So the running theory was that breaking the Warp 7 barrier did some sort of like crazy thing to humanoids. Like it just like they broke the barrier and it killed everybody, which they spent a lot of time researching. So they've spent the last 11 months like researching and doing tests and experimenting and basically proving that that's not true. Like there is no problem breaching the Warp 7 barrier. And they investigated Jhon, but all that was shown was that he was injured. He saw some of his crewmates dying, and he sent the message out. Other than that, there is no basis for what really took place. There's nothing to say, it was this thing. But instead of just kind of basically shelving the ship and putting like Jhon into like some sort of professor capacity, or just leave him like exclude him from Starfleet, they figured there's not that many NX ships out there. A lot were lost during the Earth Romulan War. I think, let me look it up. The Earth Romulan War was only a few years ago. It was 13 years ago, and a lot were lost during that time. So there's not a lot of ships out there, and so the Drake, it's pretty much, there's a lot of remember the ship that nobody really was too fond of from last session. So there's a lot of those type of ships out there, but there's not they're not really super made to go really into super deep space, and they're not really meant to take a beating. So there's only 4 NX ships out there. It's the Drake, the Lexington, the Avenger, and the Defiant. That's the only NX ships that are out there. So with by not shelving and like basically not using the Drake, they knew that it would be one less ship not out, like to not help the Federation. So they decided to put the ship back on and put a new crew on, in hopes that whatever happened doesn't happen again. And then you look at Jhon, and because the Federation is so compassionate and they try to be understanding, and there was nothing to implicate him, there really was no reason not to allow him be chief engineer again. But basically, you have two groups of admirals in Starfleet who are like, yeah, that's totally fine. Why would you do that to him? Why would you not allow him to go back onto the ship and be the chief engineer? And then you have the other group saying, there's something not right here. And we don't really fully, even though we have no real basis to, we don't really trust him. We don't trust his presence on the ship at the very, very least. But when it comes down to it, the group saying he should be on the ship was more prominent. There was more people saying, let's give him a second chance. So they put him on the ship, but with the caveat of, let's put this prodigy, Ensign Clarke, in the engine room. We'll put him in the engine room. He'll oversee all the repairs. He'll oversee everything. That's like hands-on. He won't have the title, and Jhon will be on the bridge in a communications capacity, but he'll have the title of chief engineer because he has the experience. He has the I don't know the right terminology, but basically he has like the actual. He's done it rather than say it again.
The credentials.
Yeah, he has like the credentials. He has like rather than just book knowledge, he has like street knowledge essentially.
Politics, man. Politics.
Yeah, politics. So that is more or less the state of the ship. And this is what we're going to do as a month prior to session 1, the first official mission. We're going to have you guys just have your characters like interact with each other, just basically stretch your legs a little bit in the sense of like role playing and getting used to like doing that because as the show or as the campaign goes on. So I'm gonna just say what I'm gonna do, and then the people I don't immediately put forward, those people can think about what to do. So I'm gonna have Adri and Mike are gonna be a pair, and Andrew and Ashley are going to be a pair, and Jhon and Caleb are going to be a pair. So Adri said she's going to have, she got the option to pick where she's going to meet Mike to have a discussion, and I believe she picked some sort of cafe or some sort of coffee shop somewhere on Earth. Is that what you picked?
I don't remember. I'd have to go check the logs.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's
I think
okay.
that sounds right, but
Okay.
let me
Well, while
just
you're looking it up, I'll
up.
tell. Okay. And I'm going to put Jhon and Caleb. They're going to be at the lunar construction site. So basically a starship construction site on the moon. But you're going to be on the moon, and the Drake is going to be in the dry dock that orbits with the moon, but you guys are going to be on the base, and soon the Drake is going to be sent from there to Starbase 1, which Starbase 1 is like past Pluto, just in reference of how far away it is. So here, they were doing their investigation, their experiments, their preliminary stuff. They're like trying to figure out what was wrong with the Drake here at the lunar construction site, and then they're going to send it to Starbase 1 because 95%, like 90% of the crew is on Starbase 1, which is where Andrew and Ashley are going to be. They're going to be on Starbase 1, and they're going to be there for a month. They've been there for a little bit. They haven't been there maybe a week or two. And they're meeting with everybody to like bring on everything that's got to come on, like crew and supplies and things like that. And if I didn't state it, the Drake from whatever mysterious event happened wasn't damaged in any way. Nothing happened to it. So like when they came on, when those security teams and medical teams came on, there was no evidence of like phaser fire or hand-to-hand combat or anything of that nature. It was like something just kind of swept through the ship and they don't know why. So Adri, did you find where?
Yeah. So I said like a coffee shop outside on the patio area since it's in California and it's sunny and warm. Real quick, were you going to explain the thing with Ashley's character coming aboard the Drake, or was that a private information thing? Like the reason that she's on the ship.
I think that would be discovered through narratively. Because I think on a like surface level, it would just be like a roster of like who's coming on the ship type of thing.
Is that
That's all.
something that I would tell the Michael?
You could tell him as much as you want. You could tell him everything. You tell Mike as much as you want,
Tell him nothing.
or tell him nothing. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know how to do this. So.
oh well, so basically, what you're looking to do is like basically go into her shoes and think and just like talk like what you would be like, what
Yeah.
like make believe tea party.
So the question is, how much would Captain Knightley tell her first officer?
Right. Yeah. I don't see that. I don't know that yet. I was saying,
How much would she be able to keep from the head security officer who would be pushing to see every file so I know who I'm dealing with on the ship?
yeah.
That's a good
No, I feel like she's not somebody who's going to try to keep secrets. Like, I don't think she wants to roll like that. So Will, what are you like leading something, or are we just?
I would just tell everybody what they're going to be doing, where they are, and what they're going to do, and then
Okay.
I'm probably. I mean, unless you'd like a second, I can go with somebody else. But I was going to have you and Mike go first. But
Fine.
if you need more time, I can move on.
No, that's fine.
Okay. So you're going to be on Earth, right? That's where the cafe is.
Earth, California, where
California. Okay.
where the base is, right? That's the
Headquarters?
Like where Starfleet is.
Yeah.
Headquarters. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that makes. I'm right, because like, isn't that where like our ship would depart from? Like from
It's going to
there,
depart. No, it's going to depart from Starbase 1. So it's right now. You can it's up at the moon, but you're not going to get on it departs from Starbase 1.
Okay, so where would Michael's character be then? Where would Oshrev be?
He would be basically he's reporting to you, telling him to come to the cafe. So he could be. He could have been at Starfleet. He could have been on the moon. He could have been anywhere narratively, like where, but he's coming from whatever place to meet you.
It just seems kind of like if he's somewhere out in space, I'm like, hey, buddy, come back to Earth to this specific cafe.
No, because it's like a month prior. He's in the area. That's why everybody's like close to each other.
Okay.
Because everybody's getting ready for launch, but they're not. They're not like.
Okay.
He's not like in some random thing like really far away.
Yeah, I'm not at Starbase 1 and have to come all the way to Earth.
Right.
Okay.
At best, he was probably at the moon base overseeing things, like doing that, or he was just at his quarters or someplace on Earth. That's probably.
Okay. So, okay.
So I can set the scene, so you don't have to. I'll give you a second. So
do it.
Unless you have more questions. You have more questions?
No, I don't think so. I think I would just say that. Well, no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So Mike has Ashrev has really it's a kind of an unprecedented thing to have an entire crew be wiped out.
Yeah.
So he's been kind of really busy, really making sure that whatever happened isn't going to happen again on the Drake, or happen again on this version of the Drake. So
our crew.
Right. So it's about, like I said, it's about a month prior to launch, and you're at a local Californian cafe place where a lot of Starfleet personnel meet throughout the weeks and the days. Just normal run mill. You see a lot of familiar faces that you've seen at the academy and other people that you've just seen throughout having spent time here, and we'll make it a nice kind of like sunny but kind of like partly cloudy kind of day. You said you're sitting outside?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll have you're sitting there, you know, you got a pad in your hand, and you're kind of looking over the roster and things that you know that you're going to have to be meeting with Starfleet HQ pretty soon about, you know, some last minute things that you're clearing up, like, you know, aux crew, people who are not, not senior staff, and you get to move a lot of people around. So you're waiting for Ashraf to show up, but that's kind of what you're doing. So
Okay.
then we'll just say that Ashraf he's entering, but he's, you know, X amount of paces, like steps away from approaching your table.
Okay. So is it Ashrev or Oshrev?
Ashraf.
Ashrev. Okay.
That's his first name.
Yeah.
These are some good
Right.
first questions already.
Yeah, it's role playing is really our forte.
No, but honestly,
yeah.
it is something that you would say meeting somebody on your crew for the first time. So how do you pronounce your alien name? Your weird. Why is there so many X's and V's?
So true. They always act like they know exactly how to say everything,
Oh,
but
yeah.
obviously it took introduction. That's funny.
Yeah.
So what would so that's not what I would call him, like, on duty. It would be, and that's the other thing is, last time we did this, I went to the bathroom and I didn't get everyone's like title, like, rankings. So I don't have
So
that.
I'm going to do this so that it's really fun in the video. Mike is a commander. No. Mike is a commander.
Come
That's
on.
Caleb.
I'm just glad
Yeah.
I'm not editing this video for a change.
No, it doesn't matter. Andrew is a lieutenant.
Okay. Lieutenant.
Andrew is a
Okay.
lieutenant.
Caleb's an ensign.
Yeah. He's way over
And
here.
Ashley's the commander, right?
She's the commander, yep.
And what's Jhon?
Jhon is a lieutenant commander.
I'm
And you would-
everything.
You would still call him commander.
Yeah, you would call him commander.
You wouldn't say lieutenant commander?
You can, but they usually hyphen that down to just commander.
Because
What if
Your commander.
I have him as chief,
But he is also a chief. He's
Okay.
both.
so that works.
because you know how with generals there's brigadier general, there's regular general, there's right. But you wouldn't specify. You wouldn't walk up to a general and be like brigadier general. You would just say general. It's the same thing with lieutenant.
General.
It's the same thing with lieutenant commander. If you want to be super specific, you can say lieutenant.
Yeah, oh
commander.
yeah.
But
Gotcha, but it's
he's of the commander rank, so you would just say commander.
Yeah, so I guess really what it would boil down to is how, like, intense is your character? Like, is she very like, nope, he's lieutenant commander, whatever, or is it fine to just say that?
she chill.
The other question is doctor and commander.
That's
So
true.
would Ashley's character go by doctor, or would she go by commander?
Mhm.
Does she have a
Probably
preference?
doctor.
Doctor. Okay.
Dr.
Yeah.
Bird.
Oh no.
No,
Well,
Dr. Ray.
Attorney at law.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Here's
So,
so another thing for Harper to think about is, like, is this the first time you're in charge of a ship, or is this like, are you like anxious to get on board for the first time as a commander?
yeah, so that's a good point that I guess the crew doesn't know, is that so
Killed the last.
so I also don't know how to refer to, like, am I saying I as my character, or am I
Yes.
saying, like,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
weird.
In Zoom, you're not Adrian anymore.
Unless I take my hat off and then I'm Adrian.
That's your captain's hat. Okay.
It is a Star Trek hat. So these are my shore leave clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was previously a second in command officer on a different ship. So I've been used to command. And I was definitely like on my colony, I was given like command roles. I wasn't like it was one of those things where you were like, you didn't have the title. Like, you know, when you're a worker and you're a supervisor, but you don't get the pay to be a supervisor.
Yes.
That's what she was on her growing up. And then when she went to the academy, she got, I haven't worked all that out, but basically she's been a commander for a few years. So
She's an assistant to the regional manager.
exactly, you got it.
So the best thing to do so that like it plays out a little bit better is basically that would be the conversation between you and Mike. Mike would ask the question, or you would ask Mike a question, and then Mike would have the opportunity to give his backstory.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
was just trying to give you something to think about as
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No, I
the conversation that
appreciate
you
it.
would have with we're your crew, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had 2 months basically to prepare all this, and I've done nothing. So that's not, I've done stuff, but not what I needed to do for tonight, evidently. So anyway, so it's Ashrav, and is it Ferret?
Our hat.
Our hat?
It's our hat.
Okay.
So,
So I
it's-
call you.
So it's up to Mike. It's up to Mike and also John's character if they keep the like clan thing. So Mike has the TH, where I don't think John does. He doesn't have the CH
Nah,
prominently. He's not Chud
Okay.
John.
no, that's very formal. We don't.
Right.
Well, Commander Ferret. Good.
That's also how my character is. My character tends to be more formal.
More
There you
formal.
go.
Okay.
These are things you can discuss.
Yes.
yeah, talk to him about it.
Give me a break. All right. So I assume you will, if I'm sitting at my table because she's early to everything. I look up and I see him walking towards me, and I wait till he sits to speak to him.
My character would address the captain of, hello, captain, and then I would sit down.
Okay. Hello, Commander Ferret. Hat. I'm never gonna say that right.
So our hat.
Our hat. I'm gonna have to
Write it out phonetically. Yeah.
Like R, like Toys R Us. Yeah.
The R hat. Got it. Okay.
Our hat.
Yeah.
I wrote it out phonetically. All right. So I think like the first thing she would ask is, well, see, I don't know how in depth we're getting here. Because like
It can be as in depth as you want. Because I do
In-depth
have
as
my
your
backstory
character
figured
would
out.
so why don't we just, for the sake of like not being incredibly awkward immediately, just say that like we've done introduction, he sits, we do a nice pleasantry greeting, how are you, how are you finding the weather, all that stuff, that's out of the way.
Sure.
Good.
Sure.
And then I think I would just say to him, so we have a big task ahead of us. Seems like there's a lot of unanswered questions from what happened 11 months ago. And I want to make sure we're on top of it.
I agree.
So have you any ideas of how to make sure it doesn't happen again?
We need to look into the different crew, see if there's any problems that come up. And also make sure that the ship is gone through when we get on. make sure everything is in order and there are no issues.
I agree. That leads into a nice segue into our Lieutenant Commander Jhon being on board. I feel like he's been cleared by Starfleet. I know that there's some issues there. I know that some of the admirals aren't too thrilled about what happened, but there's been no evidence. So, innocent until proven guilty. So I don't think we should treat him poorly, and I don't want any of the crew member to treat him poorly.
Basically, orders have come from higher ups that it's okay for him to be on, so I will accept that the way it is. And as long as he doesn't prove otherwise, I will accept him as he is.
Very good. Agreed. I definitely think you should keep your eye on him, but do it in a secretive, kind way, if that makes sense. And just so you are aware, I'm not telling anybody else this, but our doctor is incredibly suspicious of him, and I know she's going to have her eye on him. So the two of you can definitely work that out together. But like I said, I definitely want him to be treated as a regular officer, but be under the radar. We're keeping our eye on him.
I need to keep my eye on both of them.
I am okay with that. I don't want our crew to die immediately. So, all right. Let's see. It's hard to come up on the spot with things to talk about.
Okay, it's all right.
I had a couple things, and then I didn't write them down. So I forgot what I wanted to ask.
Starfleet has been in service for what, 12 years?
So the Federation has been
Federation.
around for 12 years. But Starfleet itself, because it's like it's like the human military, I think has been around for like 38 years. So yeah.
Were you in Starfleet before the Federation was formed?
That is a good question. And well, I can't remember. No,
No, you're in the first class.
Okay. So yeah, so that's, I would tell him that I actually grew up on a frontier colony, the Juno colony, out towards Klingon space, which we now know it is Klingon space. We didn't then. So I came to Earth and joined the academy during the first class. Starfleet vessel came and found us out there, gave us some supplies, and I don't know, he told us about the new academy and new Federation and everything that had happened with Archer and the Enterprise, and I decided I wanted to go to Earth and see what I could do here.
Yeah, I was in the Imperial Guard before I joined the Federation. So I've been in charge of ships. I've done lots of work with people. It's just getting used to being with other races.
I can understand that. That was a hardship for me coming to Earth. I was kind of out there in the middle of nowhere, so I get that for sure. Not offending their cultures and all of that. So it'll be fun out there. See what we can find. I don't know. I feel like
Fine.
for now that's good enough. I don't know.
That's totally fine. No, that's good.
I can't think of. I should have thought of stuff in advance. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you wanted to tell me, Commander our hat?
Well, you know about the war that we were participating in, and I will try and keep the past, where I don't want any Vulcan to have anything against me, where I want to try and work with them but I do have animosity toward Vulcans.
I can understand that. I appreciate you trying to keep it civil. I understand there's a lot of emotions there. Have you seen anyone about all that?
Yes,
Therapy? How'd that go?
they don't like me.
Well, why don't they like you?
I'm very forward.
I see. I'm sure it's not easy to talk about. And they probably don't like that either.
No.
Well, I will not make you talk about it, and I will not make you have therapy unless you are unable to fulfill your duties. In that sense, I will want you to have help. But other than that, I will never bring it up if you don't.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that is something that I will. Okay. I got not break character. As far as the run of the ship, I obviously want things to run smoothly and be well done. I expect, the usual efficiency of a crew. But I don't want it to be too uptight and scary for people. I want to just, especially with our bridge crew, I want to make sure that everyone's comfortable and feels like they can talk to me. So, for you, I was once in a position where my captain gave me an order that I refused. And that's a whole thing that we can discuss at another time. But I want you to know that if I ever give you an order that you morally cannot do, I want you to feel like you can tell me and talk to me and always give me your true opinion on things. I want to be able to talk and have, what's that term? Diplomacy, right? That's the right term? Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Captain. I will let you know what I'm thinking.
You're welcome. I look forward to it. And scene.
Yeah, no, good. So the only thing I forgot to have you guys do before you sat down at the table was just describe separately what does Ashrev see when he approached, like what does Harper look like and vice versa? What does Ashrev look like to Harper?
Okay, so Caleb drew my character very nicely. Let's see if I can show people.
I was trying to get a list from everybody of descriptions too, so I can draw some cards for everybody.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
that's very nice.
Yeah, he did a good job. So basically, if you picture Meghan Markle,
The Duchess.
I did not plan it, but so she's very like dark tan, like she's very tan, but like naturally tan. She doesn't go to a tan. And she's dark brown hair and dark brown eyes, and she kind of looks like Meghan Markle. So, and as far as like body type, she's obviously as a Starfleet, so she's fit, but she's more like rectangular and like kind of wide boned. That makes sense. You're looking at me weird, Will.
Your mic's going kind of weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was just me.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I haven't done anything different.
It comes and goes. Like sometimes you come in really clear, and then other times you
I
don't.
think you're sitting far back too far, maybe.
So okay, do I need to repeat any of that? Or?
A little, but not much. Most of it came through. I think like you were describing her like stature, I think is where you kind of cut off a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so somewhere I have her height written down. I think I wrote 5'7", I think. I don't know. We'll go with that because I have 28 papers in front of me and none of them are helpful. Yeah, we'll go with 5'7". And yeah, she's like rectangular in like shape, body shape, but she's thin and like trim and fit and all of that, but she's also kind of like wide boned, like thick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She's not like tiny and skinny. So that's all I got.
Now it's your turn, Mike.
I'm basically a middle-aged Andorian who's been in military for 23, 24 years.
So does he have like facial hair or like scarring on his face or anything
Little bit of
weird?
facial hair, maybe a little scar here and there, but for the most part, he wasn't on the front lines. So
Gotcha.
he didn't see lots of battles.
Yeah.
But he did see enough where
Gotcha.
he did have, some fights and
Sure.
went through a lot.
So is your facial hair like 5 o'clock shadow, or does he have like a mustache or a beard, or what's
The little bit of a goatee that just goes right around.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. A goatee. Beautiful.
Is it white hair? Like
Yes.
those? Yeah. Nice.
What's your top of your hair like?
Very, very trimmed to almost nothing.
The classic military style.
Yeah.
Cool.
You have any like special things?
Yeah, like other than the goatee, does anything about your
Yeah.
character like stand out from a crowd of Andorians?
Not really when you're looking at Andorians. It's
Okay.
just because
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
because I've been military for 20 years, I tend to come off as a little bit more intense.
Okay. I was just say on the scale of Andorian, are you like light blue, like sky blue, or like dark like the wall behind me blue?
Well,
Not quite, not quite that dark, but dark.
Okay.
It's not sky blue.
your lighting in your room is hard. It's hard to. It looks like black.
Oh, does it look
does.
like?
Yeah.
It's almost navy looking behind you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You have both your antennas.
Yep.
Oh, it's because I stole your lamp over there.
Yeah. That's okay.
Genuine.
Very good.
Thanks for bearing with me, guys. That is like super awkward to do. So have fun.
You did it.
All right. It's
Oh.
okay.
I saw
I
Jhon
never went to draw.
making puss faces.
What's that? Something about? I didn't.
I
quite
said I
catch.
saw Jhon making puss faces, but remember your character isn't allowed to know any of this stuff.
No, he doesn't know nothing.
And that's how he likes.
I, as Jhon, was making puss faces.
He has to put a hat on and then take it off. That's how.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that the doctor and myself went to the same. We were in the same graduating class, so we're friends. We've always been good friends since then. So basically, she kind of used that to get on. Right? Isn't that how?
Yeah, that's how I got on the ship.
Cool.
Our laying favor.
There's gonna be no favoritism though.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I need to look at the
No.
doctor even harder now.
Very good. Okay. Okay, we'll cut that, and then we'll say we'll jump cut, splash cut to Jhon and Caleb.
Get out of my frame. I gotta get in the frame. You're still.
So
Oh, you want me to be completely out of
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Oh,
You can still watch.
see, character
Wow.
energy, John.
Thank you. Gotta
boy.
make it
So-
official.
Yeah, of
Can you
course.
see?
Yeah.
I guess we just have to hear. It's fine.
I can't wait for Ashley to come back, and she's gonna elbow you hard when it's her turn to take over this.
I'm gonna roll for murder when it's her turn.
So, so we cut to the moon. So the moon has the lunar construction area, and there's like a dry deck, so it kind of looks like a big, kind of like rib cage up on the in orbit with the moon. So it stays with the moon and rolls with it. So, I'm trying to think. So Caleb or Isaac is there because he's overseeing everything that's being done, all of the like fine tuning and just getting ready for because now they've like Starfleet has finished their investigation. They're no longer investigating. They're not. Their crews, their investigative teams have come off of the Drake. This is the first time people like the next essentially the next type of grouping of people go on, which is like the preliminary people to get the Drake ready for this new crew. So Isaac is there because he's one of the people involved in overseeing basically it's run through, which is what the admiral who's overseeing overseeing the Drake, and also Captain Knightley has like preliminary things that she wants done, and so does Commander Tharhat. All of these people have like expectations that need to be met before the Drake is launched. So that's why Isaac is there. Jhon is there because, for basically the lack of it, do you want your guy to be kind of out of the know that everybody is unsure about him being on there, or do you want him to be in the know?
He was not officially told anything, but he knows.
Okay. So yeah. So you were also sent there. Jhon was also sent to the lunar construction site to oversee things, but you've kind of discovered a lot of your assumptions have been made correct, that when you arrive there, you don't have as many responsibilities as a normal person, a normal like chief engineer overseeing things would. In fact, that's been going a lot to Ensign Clarke. A lot of the things that you would be asked to do, like run tests on this, make sure that the power systems are working well on the ship. You're just kind of, they're like, oh yeah, that's all set. Yeah, no worries. So, but you're not on the Drake. Nobody's on the Drake. You guys are down on the base below, and on the moon. Yeah. So there's no floating here. It's all artificial gravity. So no weird like Neil Armstrong hopping. So I'm gonna say, I think the thing that probably makes the most sense is once Jhon got there and realized that he was in a really like nice way being told to don't worry about anything, Jhon is requested to meet with Clarke to kind of hammer some things out. So Clarke, all the Ensign Clarke knows is that the guy that he's been told is the chief engineer but isn't running the thing, he wants to meet him in a we'll say like at a I guess it's like a lounge. There's like a lounge in the construction thing. So it's just a lot of people who live at this station, and people who have been sent here to work on the Drake. Like there's a lot of people. This is off hours. Nothing's happening. Jhon isn't pulling Isaac from anything. This is like after the day is concluded. It's like a little after dinner time. So that's where I'll send you.
All right. So I walk into the moon lounge and I see this dashing figure waiting for my approach. And for some reason, he describes himself as I'm
Yes.
walking up to him.
That's actually really funny. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm in my 30s. Or no, I'm 25, right? Yeah, I'm
You're
20
like in your early 20s, I think. Yeah.
I thought I was like 24 or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, so let's just go with that. I thought I was 24. I wrote it somewhere.
20, I think 25 or 26. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 25. Can't remember. Yeah, so I'm just like a generic looking human male with a goatee, and I have a bionic left hand from a welding accident on the space station where I was born. And I think that is really it. I don't really have anything too crazy.
All right. And I describe myself to myself as I'm walking toward you. Not out loud, of course.
No, this is all
uh,
inner.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I am Andorian.
Mm-hmm.
I have dark blue skin. I'm not sure if it's darker blue or not than the other Andorian that will be part of the crew. Yet to be determined, because we haven't met yet. I have gray eyes, a gray iris.
Uh-huh.
I have white, slicked hair. Is it long? Kinda. It kind of goes down to my shoulders in the back. You know, business in front, party in the back.
God.
So much.
None
It
of
looked
these are
like I-
descriptions you gave me earlier.
Nailed it. See, perfect.
Waste of time.
He looks like he's seen some things. A little stern, but not
Mm-hmm.
like too commanding or intimidating. I don't know how tall he is. We're gonna give him a nice 6 feet. Why not?
6 even.
Yeah. He's really like 5'11" and a half, but he just says 6 feet.
He fudges all the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fine. After hearing these descriptions in his head, he finally reaches.
Well, wait, you have the one thing that I think also described.
Oh, of course. Where the usual Andorians have 2 antennae, I also have them. However, they've been replaced with some sort of synthetic antenna. It's not necessarily a helmet, but you got the antenna on the top. They're connected through some sort of metal. It's pretty much that. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yep.
Yep. See, just like I described.
Perfectly described.
So yes, I've reached the table. Ensign Clarke, I presume.
Yes, Chief Jhon. Nice to meet you.
I appreciate the formalities, but Jhon is fine.
Jhon. Okay.
I've heard of you before meeting you. Your reputation precedes you.
Thank you. I can say the same about you.
I know what's being said about me, and it's no secret to me why we're both assigned to the Drake.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I don't know 100% about it. I assume things, but honestly, just happy that you're in one piece. And do you have any idea at all what happened to you out there?
Unfortunately, it's just like it says in the reports. there was something that overcame me. I looked around. The crew was writhing, dropping. I was gained consciousness enough to send out a distress signal, and that was the last I remember.
Wow. I can't imagine that.
I'm pretty sure there's video. You'll have to watch. It's pretty much required.
Yeah.
Required
I
reading.
haven't gotten around to all of it yet.
Yeah, no, it's a tough watch. It's a tough watch.
Yeah. The ship seems to be in good working order though, at least.
Yes, that's what I've heard. Haven't had too much hands-on activity with the new and improved Drake, but I've heard the same. And I just wanted to put it out there that there's no bad blood between us. We can both work as one. And also, Starfleet doesn't recognize the U, Jhon, so you're safe in that regard as well.
Okay. I appreciate that. I feel the same way.
All right. I'm glad we could talk that over.
Yeah.
I will, no formalities needed, but I do like to be addressed as Commander Jhon.
Commander. Okay. I'll remember that.
Thank you, Ensign.
I have no preference on mine.
Well, I feel like we can become close friends on the Drake.
Yeah. Yeah, I look forward to working with you. I know you have a lot more experience than me.
Well, that's not always a boon.
Is there you have any other questions for me, or what you expect out of me is working underneath you?
Well, as far as I've been informed, I'll be taking place on the bridge, and you mainly in the engine room. I trust that you know your way around an engine.
I do.
Then as long as you know what to do, then I put my trust in you.
I appreciate that. I won't let you down.
I appreciate that because they've also given me the communications title, which I honestly not sure why they did that. I got to be honest with you. I'm much more comfortable in the engine room.
It seems like you're really good at communications. So.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh man.
How long you been on the moon?
I just got here a couple weeks ago. I just came to see the ending tune-ups and see us out.
Yeah, I was just released from observation, so sent me straight here.
Wow, straight here, huh?
It's been 10 long months of evaluations.
Did you wake up in a coma, or did you have to go through rehabilitation?
I did need some rehabilitation. I had a fairly good doctor. She'll also be aboard the ship with us.
Yeah, I see your antennas there.
Yes, actually, that was made by a mentor of mine. He also perished in the accident. Professor Jhon, perhaps you've heard of him.
I have, yes. So he made those for you before the accident or after the accident?
Before them, actually. When I was born with, I'll just say non-functioning antenna. And when I came to Earth, he took notice and was able to help me. And he gave me these antennae, and it changed everything for me. However, they were damaged in the accident, and with the unfortunate demise of Professor Ton, I had to make some modifications.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Do you have
great as rain.
do you have better hearing than usual, or is it about the same? I'm thinking-
Hearing isn't necessarily a function of these. Is normal antenna work. They allow me for spatial recognition. It gives
Oh.
me a slight advantage.
Right.
Usually.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's right, because you have ears.
Yes. Yes, I do. Thank you for noticing.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful blue ears, by the way.
Yes. That's some shade of dark blue. Thank you.
See, I was born on a space station, and we didn't really get a ton of different species, so I'm not super fluent in a lot of cultures.
Of course, any questions, and I can awkwardly guide you through the answers.
Well, I can awkwardly ask them. So
See, we're getting along great already.
I think we're gonna be best of buddies.
I think so too, Ensign. Yeah, I did move from Andoria at a young age, so I've been pretty acclimated to different species. Nothing's too shocking anymore.
Yeah. How do you feel about the what is it? Our medical, not medical.
Chief medical officer.
Brilliant.
Oh
No,
really?
So we have a Vulcan on board.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
science officer.
Yeah, right. Science.
Yes, I'm assuming you're speaking of my relationship with Professor Ton, who was also a Vulcan.
Oh, right.
It's difficult. It's difficult to work with Vulcans closely as I did with Professor Ton for most of my professional career and in Starfleet.
So then you shouldn't have any issues then.
No issues. No. I never really adopted the views of my people, because as I said, I've moved at an early age with my mother. She was an ambassador for Earth. So most of my life I have been raised on Earth.
Yeah, Earth is all new to me. I've never really been on a planet before.
It's not bad. You should try the burgers.
I've eaten a lot since I've gotten here.
Yeah. Yes, moon burgers especially. I hear they're top notch.
Yeah, and coffee is really good down here. Up there, it's instant.
Yes.
No, it's not drinkable.
I'll have to give it a go.
Yeah.
Perhaps sometimes we can have coffee.
We could have coffee.
I hear there's a nice little cafe in California.
Yeah, I think the captain's probably there. She's a real snooty patootie for that sort of thing, if you know what I mean.
A coffee snob, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I actually graduated with the captain.
Did you?
Yes, first class.
Wow. She seems like she graduated with a lot of people.
There were a lot of us, yes. Large class sizes. We didn't get to properly meet. I saw her in the hallways.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, It was nice getting to meet you before we got on board.
Of course,
And,
I wanted to make sure that we were properly introduced.
Yeah. No, it was nice to see you. And I'm going to go get dinner, and I will see you first thing in the morning.
All right. It's nighttime, but I feel I'm going to try some coffee.
You should. You should. Just don't get decaf. Maybe get a decaf.
A decaf coffee.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
All right. Nice to see you.
Ensign.
Chief. Commander. Sorry. Commander.
Perfect. So Isaac gets up from the bar and he walks back into like they call it like a promenade. It's like where a lot of individual like shops and places and little restaurants are. He kind of heads off in that direction where there are places to order food and things of that nature. And Jhon stays at the bar and he motions over to the bartender and he asks for a decaf coffee.
Does he enjoy the decaf coffee?
I guess you'll have to tune in next time.
That's for him to know.
That was really good, guys. That was fun to listen to. Nice job.
It was.
Well done.
Getting started is hard, but
Yeah.
my thing is I don't like know a lot about the universe, so I'm trying to like make it up.
No clue.
So the two of us have no, like, we're not really
Perfect.
So what about this warp 3 thing I keep hearing about? It's pretty good.
Now you can come back.
That's right. You have ears.
Yes. Yeah, because as I was asking that, I was like, wait a minute, they have ears.
That was excellent.
That's the secret. His ears are gone.
So I had to play it off as, well, I was born in space. I don't know nothing about it.
I don't know anything. You're the first Andorian I've ever seen.
You're blue. You have beautiful blue ears.
And the joke's on us is that Isaac has seen so many alien races. He just doesn't. He's never seen an Andorian before.
Yeah, I have. I literally was born on a spaceport with all sorts. Oh my god.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Good stuff.
I do like that. You're blue.
You're blue.
I like how he somehow knows that the
Yeah. I don't know.
phraseology had me gone. That was hilarious.
Real snooty patootie.
Yeah.
The fact that like the ensign would say that.
Yeah, he's an ensign. He's
I don't care.
right, exactly.
I'm just a red shirt.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Should get thrown around a little bit.
Oh god, that was hilarious.
Okay.
Well done.
So now we'll cut to Starbase 1. So Starbase 1 is out past Pluto. So it's pretty far away from everything, from where at least these other two scenes are happening. And I won't get like super crazy into space stuff because like the station is in, I think it's called like the Cooper Belt or something like that, which is like an outer ring on the outside of Pluto. So it's like in this. So it's still like within the in the solar system, essentially. So on this station, it has there. It's a. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I want to show it. I'll say that. Anyways, it's a normal. It's like a very cylinder type shape, and then there's like a ring, and on the rings are these little domed circular kind of things, and inside of them are what would you call them? They're like seed pods that were sent from Earth. So when Earth was having World War III, like 100 years ago from this standpoint. They sent these seed pods out so that parts of Earth could continue to live in case it was fully destroyed. So there's like rainforests and just other parts of the Earth that they want to preserve for any reason. It's usually filled with animals and any type of like natural thing that if the Earth was completely destroyed, there would still be some record of it. There would be something to appreciate, essentially. Species of plants and animals and minerals and things of that nature. So that's what's around. So there's a few of them surrounding this other ring. There's these little domed like and things attached to the ring. And you said Dr. Ray, right? That's how you.
Yep.
Okay. So Dr. Ray is on Starbase One because she is getting ready. She's prepping her medical staff, like the nurses that she's going to have on call and things like that. She's prepping them, and she's also making sure that her requisition, because she is the first Aurelian in Starfleet, she's making sure that the medical supplies and any type of equipment that she needs is properly coming from her planet to Starbase One in preparation of putting it on the Drake when it comes here in about 3 weeks or so. So that's what Dr. Ray is there for. She's just there to oversee it and make sure that like basically box A, box B, box C is properly put onto the Drake when it gets here, and just making sure when it comes on transport ships to Starbase One, that like the things that you've required, if you've asked for this, or this, it's on that. Like you're looking at the list and making sure, yep, all these things that I said I needed and I want are here. And anybody that, because only the senior staff is not present. The rest of the crew is on Starbase One. So other than Lieutenant Sova, who is here, the rest of them aren't, as you saw. Actually, nobody's here. So you are talking to your medical staff and making sure that you're basically you're assigning shifts. You're going to have like I believe it's 4 shifts or 3 shifts. I can't remember exactly how it works, but there's like a morning, an evening, and like an overnight shift. So you're assigning crews so that you'll be on usually the morning, like a 9 to 5 type schedule, whatever your schedule is, 8 to 4, 8 to 5. You can. That's not necessary for you to come up with, but that's you just so you understand. And then from there, your staff, you'll have like a nurse or another. There could be other doctors on here too, but obviously you're chief medical officer, so anybody else would report to you. Even if they're another fellow doctor, they still have to come and talk to you. So you're assigning shifts and putting people and making sure and overseeing things so that if nurse or doctor or whoever so and so like don't really get along, or they have different types of viewpoints on things, that maybe you're shuffling things a little bit. You're shuffling things so that people have like a really good flow. They don't have to page you at like 3 o'clock in the morning and be like, "What do we do?" You're putting competent people in the right places. So that's primarily why you're here a month ahead of time, is just to make sure all of that is good and buttoned up. So Lieutenant Sova, he's on here, and he has been commissioned by Captain Knightley to oversee everything else. So he's not individualizing it. He's not looking at like every single thing. He's just going to department heads and saying, "Hey, do you have all of these things? Hey, do you have a..." So normally he would be talking to Ashrav, and he would be talking to Jhon and the captain, but they're not here. So he has to go to like the individuals below. But you are on, Dr. Ray is on the station. So instead of going to the next fellow person or the next person in command in that department, He's going to come looking. He's going to come chat with you and make sure what he knows from his paperwork or his pad matches. Like basically, he's going to come to you and say, "Huh, like okay, I see here line whatever this thing you're looking for these things. Did you get these things? Are these crew members here? Great." And that's pretty much it. Nothing really much more than just kind of a professional back and forth. It's not going to be. You can make it this way, but it's not as relaxed as the other two scenes because you guys are technically working. You're like in between. You know, you're still on duty essentially. So we'll have Dr. Ray. She will be in. Let's put her in basically like Starbase 1's medical, like Medbay, like the sick bay of Starbase 1. That's where she'll be talking to. There is a doctor on Starbase 1, so we could be having that person there. That's Dr. Howard is his name, and he's the doctor for Starbase 1. And we'll have Sova. He'll be coming down again. There's like a promenade on this station as well, which is like there's little. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically imagine like a big ring because that's how the thing goes. That's how the station is. And on the edges, on the outer edge of the ring, are these little like cutouts for you to go in and like you know like this is where the med bay is, or this is like where you can order food. It's basically like a mall looking setting with like storefronts, but it just goes in a circular thing. So Lieutenant Sova is going to be coming with his pad, making sure that everything is a-okay in the medical department. And just remember, like Jhon and Caleb did, just remember to to put to describe what the other person sees. And that's your scene. Unless you have any questions. Anybody have questions?
Do we know about each other?
Okay, perfect question. So Dr. Ray obviously knows of you because she is familiar with who's on. She has all the medical files, right? She's going to know who Lieutenant Sova is on like a medical layout, like Vulcan medical history. That's all she's going to have. So she knows because she's very proficient in making sure like she understands who the crew is. But you, I'm going to say, Andrew, that you've only heard that she is an Aurelian and you've never met her before. So, and is it safe to say that your character has never even seen one, or have you seen?
I've never seen.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and I would say that Dr. Ray, because of she's been in Starfleet for a while, she is very familiar with Vulcans. There's no, it's just like seeing humans. There's no, you know what they look like. That's okay.
So shall I begin with the description? Okay. So my character is male, 5'10". He's 72, which in Vulcan years is still very young. So he looks probably like a 20 to 30-year-old, but he's a Vulcan. So he looks like a young person, but he's a Vulcan of older age, obviously. He looks like a standard Vulcan, with what is it, like a triangle haircut?
Yeah, it's like a bowl cut. I think that's what they call it, but yeah.
Bowl cut, black hair, black eyes, no facial hair. Really the only thing that separates him from the average Vulcan is he has a scar from his chin up the side on his right side. That's like the only really defining feature he has. Did you want to try?
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. My character is she's an avian species, so she looks like a bird. White. Well, most most in my species, they're usually yellow, but mine are white. So I have white feathers and blue eyes. I'm tall. I'm probably, I'm not exactly sure of the height, but probably like tall and like slender.
Yeah, you're probably over
I think
6'5",
probably.
almost. Yeah.
Probably gonna be like more tall than most people on the
Yes.
Drake. Yeah, I don't really know.
No, yeah.
Bird.
Can you
Yeah.
fly?
Yes. Yes. Yep. I can fly. Let me
Yeah, so
look
her,
at my notes.
yeah, so while she looks at her notes, so out of the back of her uniform, and probably even out of, if she has like a medical doctor vest on, is her wings. Her like white feathery wings are behind her.
Yes, so I can fly. I'm 74 years old, which probably like more so in like human years probably would be like in the 40s. So I'm kind of like middle-aged. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, just to warn, so my character is full Vulcan, so I'm going to attempt to give absolutely no emotion of any kind. So this is
So
very confusing.
Yeah, so for you, Ashley, if you're not super familiar with Vulcans, they have emotions. They're capable of having emotions, but they heavily suppress them. And it's offensive to them for them to display emotions and to have emotions displayed to them. So that's okay. Like, you be yourself, but that's just how Vulcans are.
So I'm just letting you know, because if you ask anything of how do you feel or my default answer has to be Vulcans don't have feelings.
Okay.
How do you feel about the ship blowing up?
Perfect.
Vulcans do not have feelings.
Do you like the weather?
It is adequate.
It is.
Perfect.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Agreeable.
it's agreeable. That's right.
And since I'm a bird, I'm probably usually skittish and shy. So
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, hey.
So
Sounds like a fun day.
the doors open to the medical bay. I walk in looking for an avian species, and I see the giant 6'5". And
I'm
go,
not. I'm
okay.
giant, but I'm not scary.
Yeah.
That depends. So yes.
All right. So, no emotion. So hard when you're trying not to laugh.
It is.
Okay. Doctor, if you have a moment, I would like to discuss the requisitions with you.
Okay.
So I was discussing with the other departments, and they have things pretty much under control. But I want to make sure that your list is complete. And I also see some very strange requisitions on here.
Okay. Which requisitions are you questioning?
So a lot of this I understand. Hypersprays, medical supplies, bandages, those all make sense to me. But once we get down into these plants, I mean, isn't it more appropriate to put plants in your own room if you're using them for decoration?
Yes, I do have plants in my room. But are you like talking like about like using them for medicine? Is that what you're questioning?
Is that why they're here on the medical?
Yes.
I was wondering if they were more for decoration.
I have some for decoration, and then I'm bringing many on the ship to use as medicine because our culture is a plant-based culture, so we use a lot of medicine. We use medicine in place of like traditional medicine. So a lot of the medicines that I have that I am bringing on here, like aloe and tea tree oil, I use a lot for healing wounds, things like that. That's like the main plant source that I'll be using a lot. There's a plant like called feverfew, which if anyone was to like get sick and have a fever, that's what we use back at home to help like reduce that. Hawthorn, if anyone has any heart issues, I'm bringing that along too, because that helps a lot with any like heart related issues. And then there's just like basic like turmeric and lavender for like any like headaches or like muscle pains or anything like that. And then I'm also, there also has to be a lot of sunflowers brought on ship.
May I
Yes,
ask what the sunflowers are for?
Because I just really like sunflowers.
I guess
It's a flower that I saw on Earth and they just made me happy. So I just want to make sure that I bring on a lot of sunflowers on the ship.
intriguing. That seems illogical, but if you feel that it would be better for the crew, I guess that is acceptable.
Yeah, it brings joy. Can you look at a sunflower and it just make you happy?
Well, as a Vulcan, I don't feel any emotion.
That's true.
Have you received all of the supplies that you requested, or are you still waiting for some?
I believe I have everything that I need. Like I have the basic bandages and gauze and my stethoscope and fluids and like all of like the syringes and everything to help like inject like the plant medicine.
Right, I think that's everything that I need.
Yeah.
I find your way of care most strange but intriguing, so I will be interested to see what results of this. Is there anything else that you need before I take my leave?
I don't think so. I think I'm all set.
All right, then I shall go and finish my list of different people that I need to speak to.
Okay,
You have a good day.
you too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Nice job.
That was good. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
Perfect. So
Love the sunflower part.
I know, that was awesome. I love it. Sunflowers are great.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Perfect.
excited for your medicinal medicine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I think, so basically to connect the two is like she has normal normal Starfleet medicine in areas where it's like some random thing. She has like all of this other kind of like a country doctor. She has all of these other assortments of medical supplies that, if anything doesn't, somebody's got some sort of issue, she has this other, she refers to this. Because that's how they do it on her planet. So,
Yeah.
but she's also expertise in just normal conventional, like Andrew said, hypo sprays, things of that nature, which are just normal run of the mill stuff. So
Beautiful. Andrew did a good job as a Vulcan.
Mhm. Yeah, he did.
He was
Yeah.
like, that is most illogical. Love it.
So that's always the thing. Something doesn't make sense. Illogical.
Logical.
Logical.
If it doesn't make sense to me, I don't like it.
So before I wrap it up, does anybody else want to like meet with another character for any reason, and we can work it out? But if not, I can just conclude. It's not a big deal.
Once everyone's on the ship, most likely I would go around just meeting everybody,
Okay. Yeah, I
Just to
just
get a-
meant like okay.
just to get a feel for everything. Just because I'd be security, but other than
Sure.
that, it wouldn't have to be like the one-on-one.
Okay.
Mostly I just walk up and say hi, how's it going,
Right.
just to meet them and get a feel for them.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Go ahead.
No. It's okay. Go right ahead.
I'm thinking that it might be, well, we're already at 9 o'clock, but I was thinking it might be kind of something the Titan would do to like call.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Never mind.
Okay. Okay.
I want to go to bed now.
Okay.
I think it's too late to do what I was thinking.
Okay. Let's.
So was I right when I was talking to Jhon and saying that like we were getting on Starfleet in the morning?
You would have just been starting another day working on stuff at the ship.
Okay.
So yeah, you weren't wrong in any. It's just rather than like, oh well, now tomorrow is like we're getting on the ship. It's more of like tomorrow is just another work day here at the
Okay.
base.
Yeah, I
So,
didn't
yeah.
because I didn't say like we were leaving. I just said we were
Right.
at the in the morning.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
So
When,
I'll say this.
when are we getting on the ship?
in a month, 1 month from now. Well, in real time, it'll be like a month and a half, but that'll be session one. Will
One
be
is joining the ship.
is
Okay.
everybody's on the ship.
Those are just like preliminary stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, this is like basically it was preliminary things, and it also allowed a small setting where each individual person can kind of like, showcase what they want their character to be like.
So
And
we can
also
get
just
we can get comfortable, and then in a month and a half we'll do it all over again.
exactly right when you're like, oh, I think I can do this. I'm gonna let all that lower.
Thank you.
All the anxiety rise right back up, and then we'll
Beautiful.
start again.
That's good.
Now, when we start back up, how often are we doing this?
It should be bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
So the goal is, if you go back to the Discord and go like all the way to the top, it kind of breaks it down. But the goal is, so let's say, because this is Jhon and Ashley. So if let's say they can't be here, or Mike or something like, so like Mike's family's not feeling well, so like if he couldn't have been on tonight and it was a normal session, what we would just do is still hold it as long as there was a decent amount of people. If it's like everybody but 2 people are here, then it doesn't make sense. But as long as a majority of people are here, we'll still hold it, and it'll still go up on there, and then people who weren't here can watch it. But it's in hopes that everybody can make it every other week. But if they can't, it's okay. And
There's also, I was thinking there's also a thing of if you can't make it but you can still call in, we might be able to set up something like that.
Oh, you mean like what do you mean? Yeah.
Like they're not up to being on, but they can still participate. I'm saying there's also
Oh, sure.
I'm
Yeah.
saying there's different levels. If you're like, oh, I don't feel up to participating, but I can roll and I can,
Oh, yes.
we can still include you. So don't feel like it's an all or nothing thing.
Sure. Yeah. Whatever the case may be. So that's the goal. I have 13 missions, because that's how long, I forgot what I put. I think it was April. So I have like 13, but it depends on how long things go. We're only meeting together for a few hours, so you guys could, like I've said to a couple of you, we can either like fly through these things. You guys are just like, don't have much to say to each other, and we get to the thing, and next thing you know, we're session 5, and I have to come up with new material, or we get into this a few months, and it's like we're only on mission 3. So just depends on how long it takes you guys to get through things, and how long pretty much I have the story, but how long it takes to get through the story is basically up to time and how long you guys like work at it. If it's just like I just want to roll and do things, it'll go fast. But if I want to talk and have scenes and like we did just now, then it'll take longer.
Did you expect tonight to go by quicker or longer?
Pretty much right where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't honestly. You guys played out a lot longer scenes than I did. I mean, especially Jhon and Caleb. You guys went the longest, so it's like Yeah, I mean, you guys held the scene. No, in a good way. You guys held longer than I expected. So I expected pretty much what Adrian, Mike, and Ashley and Andrew did, which was like short and to the point and just very succinct, was like what I expected from all of you. So you and Jhon having more of a back and forth was
well,
nice.
we're engineers,
Yeah, and you're on the moon, so
yeah. Well,
Time's different there, so it's
yeah. So
Will, I think what I'll do, instead of acting it out, I'll just say that Harper, once she ends her meeting with the commander, she will get, how does that work? Like space calls, like call me on the phone.
Like you would just go to like your quarters, and you would just like, it's basically like video conferencing. Either you can like send a message, like type it out, or you can like call, like video call somebody essentially.
Okay, it's just like the time period that we're in that I have like questions on, because if we were later, I would have more knowledge. But anyway, so I will just send out like a typed message to the doctor and just let her know that I met with the commander and that he's going to be keeping his eye on our friend. So we have somebody else to, talk to, and then I also will just send a message to Ensign Clarke to see how things are going up on the ship.
good.
You don't even need to wait for it. He already can tell you.
Yeah.
Adri's already doing a secret girls club behind the scenes of everything already.
Well, I have to, because I didn't pick her to be my second in command, so now I
But you got your second in command spying on both of them.
Well, it wasn't captain commissioned to spy on the doctor. Only Jhon, but I'm not gonna get in the way of his, he's got work to do, and that's what he wants to do. So
how are the Andorians as like a species? Are
they're really kind of like
how Jhon was?
You gotta watch
no,
Enterprise.
not how Jhon.
Oh,
No. How Mike was.
okay.
Jhon was
They're
raised mostly on Earth, though.
Right.
No, that's true.
Right. So
Just
they're very military. They're very by the book. They're very like suspicious people by nature. They're
Very honorable.
not like they do suspicious things. They're very suspicious of others. So
Sounds kind of like they're like Vulcans as far as like by the books.
yeah, they're just very emotional.
That's why there's so much war between the Vulcans and the Andorians. Is
That makes sense.
they're constantly suspicious of each other. Like, oh, if you do anything, it's because you're trying to kill me.
Yeah,
Both sides kept doing that.
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
there's a few like key episodes, I think.
Yeah, I gotta watch. I gotta get to that.
I know. I gotta go through I wanted to go through all of it, but again, 3 months has passed and I've done nothing. So I think I'm just gonna watch Will's key list.
What's it? Is it on anything now, Will, or no?
Look at that. Nice. It's on Paramount Plus. That's the only thing it's on.
Okay, great.
You can use our account, right?
Yep. I think so.
That's a federal crime.
Yeah.
Hey, Ashley, is this kind of like what you're picturing, as far as like the white feathers? Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
She's
I like
8. You
that.
can't
That's
tell, but
perfect.
she's 8 feet tall.
Banana for scale.
Like,
Did you seriously do that when we were discussing it?
I had some of it. Done.
You know, when you said Howard and you're talking about the aliens, Howard the Duck popped in my head, and I'm sitting there
Yeah.
trying to not laugh the entire time.
Even better, it's a reference to the Three Stooges because it's always Dr. Howard, Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine. So
Oh yeah.
Very timely reference in this
It is,
future
yeah.
world we're
Mm-hmm.
playing.
Well,
yeah, 1920s, early,
They have-
mid 2100s.
They haven't even seen the Will Sasso version yet.
Oh, that's the only thing that survived.
God.
They don't know of the original black and white.
That's awful.
So here it is. So you all will forget in a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. So you're all under, but obviously, Adri, who's way over here, she reports to Admiral Sharafi.
Mm-hmm.
spell it.
CH apostrophe
Andorian.
ROTHI.
THI. Sharafi.
Sharafi.
Sounds like an Andorian to me.
He is an Andorian.
Mm.
Mm. So he, just like to show if anybody has seen Enterprise or soon to watch Enterprise, just like Admiral, gosh, I'm blanking on his name, Blackwell,
Yeah.
something like that. I'm totally blanking on it. But anyway, just like him, I don't
I don't
remember.
know.
But there's an admiral at Starfleet who oversees specifically the Drake. He's the one that you'll report back to.
So is he a cool Andorian?
He's pretty okay. He also was born on a frontier planet, so he understands being kind of, not like on Earth. So he understands like the whole intermixing of species. He's not like, oh, it's all Andorian all the time now. It's like,
But he's
He
definitely
understands.
more Andorian than like
then you,
Earth's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like other Andorians.
right, exactly. Yeah. But I saw it. So that's the person that's your go-to guy. So you're going to hear that name a lot, and he's going to be shown up a lot.
Okay.
So the next thing to forget is session 1's episode title.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's called Evocation.
Nice.
Can you use it in a sentence?
So it's like to bring about something, like to bring something up.
The Drake.
It's EVOCATION. It's almost like evocation, but it's like it's to evoke something, basically. Yeah,
What's the difference between evoke and invoke?
I like the spelling.
Got him.
Like when you have time off and you go somewhere, you go to an evocation.
Evoke.
So I think
I just
I
got
think
home
it-
from an evocation.
I think invoke is like you do this thing to make this happen, and evoke is like you do something and something results from your action.
The response to the
Right.
invoking.
Yeah.
Call earnestly for. She invoked his help against the attack. To call earnest. Okay, that's not even the word that we're actually. Evoke. Bring or recall to the conscious mind.
Bring or recall to the conscious mind.
Nice.
You're getting it.
Like
Yep.
the Drake.
Like,
Nice.
I get it.
I understand the Star Treks.
Mhm.
Jhon, here's the sentence for you. It says, the awkward kid who evoked giggles from his sister. That's,
Yep,
that's
that's the
Google.
sentence.
That's the dictionary sentence.
That was the
for you.
one.
Definitely
I re-
understand it more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the act of evoking.
So it's giggling, is what I'm gathering
It
from
has
that.
everything to do with giggling.
Yes.
Oh, it's laughing.
Beautiful.
The other thing I realized, but it doesn't matter because he is on senior staff, but obviously there's no like, there's not a real reason to have like an intricate thing, is Ensign Milek, the
Oh,
con
yeah.
officer, the guy that I made. There's not really a real reason to have like a one-off with him because he's just a con officer. So
We hate him. He's garbage to us.
He just sits in the chair and
Yeah.
pushes the buttons.
yep.
What? Can you
He's
just
probably-
describe him to us, or is that in the Discord too?
It's in the Discord.
It's a little bit in the Discord, yeah. He is a Rysian.
Oh, that's right.
He has dark skin and he's an ensign. He graduated with Caleb, but again, like John's character, it's like in the hallway thing. It's not like they were buddies.
Did anyone graduate the second year with my character? Or?
Don't think so. Because Mike, what were you third? Right?
I was early. I think I was second.
Oh, are you second? Okay, maybe the two of you did then.
But at the same time, I don't care for him.
Obviously, we don't have much interaction.
Very
Is-
true.
Is there anyone that I might possibly have seen? So I might have seen Michael's character, but Caleb's character was the third.
He's the very last class, and so is the con officer. So those guys you wouldn't really know really well.
And everybody else was the first class, right?
Yeah. So you would know basically, you would know of the captain, and you would know of Jhon because of all of the stuff surrounding the Drake. It's like it's kind of hard not basically it's kind of hard that everybody doesn't know him because it's just so. It would be everywhere on the news. They would be talking about it. It would just be. So even if you didn't like personally talk to him, you know what he looks like. You're familiar with him.
Ears. Yeah. They get around. The word got around.
So yeah. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, the other, like you just met Dr. Ray, so you didn't know her. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. So November 6th is session 1. Good.
Aw,
That's so far away.
I know.
I
We're
know.
not even in October yet.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not rush into November.
No. I'm not. I'm just letting people
Well,
know.
Forward to re-meeting everybody.
Yeah, I know.
You're
That's
blue.
good. That gives us time to flesh out stuff more.
Are you
But
gonna
honestly,
walk up to Michael's character and start comparing blue? Like, or who's got blue or blue?
Yeah, we're gonna have to go look at paint colors and
yeah.
I'm sure there's some type of filter that you can just put on this thing.
probably.
I could probably just buy a blue piece of like clear plastic.
Just buy what are those things called? Like a baklava? Is that what they call them? Those like ski.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
Just a nice
get it.
wool.
Just wear that.
Okay.
Foam
I
little
think just a blue filter.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It won't be on. Well, it'll be November. So
Okay.
yeah.
Tis the season for those. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that is it. That's all I had for tonight. So
Nice.
Work gang.
Fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great. Thank you for doing it again and
Yeah, it was fun.
making you guys uncomfortable and yeah. And hopefully in the stretch I will get better at setting up scenes and things of that nature. But
It taught me that you need to really know your character.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling Andrew and I think Mike was on too earlier that like I spent the past like basically from the first thing that we did on here to now like trying to figure out her backstory,
Mhm.
but like only her like her parents. So like I haven't even like I
Jeez.
just finished that and it's like really solid now, but I haven't even like gotten to her. So
I started writing like a lot, and then I was like, okay, I need to bullet point these because only like 2 of these things really matter.
yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
I graduated 3rd from Starfleet, and I
Have a bionic.
I got a
hand.
robot hand. Okay.
Really into
What?
space trumpet, I heard.
Odd. Is there anything better than Space Trumpet?
No, that was
No.
the thing to do
Maybe-
first. Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
the
gonna
moon. The moon trumpet.
I'm gonna retroact what the scene was, and instead of you guys sitting at the bar, it's gonna be Jhon walking into the lounge and he's in the
I love this
Is
song.
Is that you, Ensign Clarke? yeah, exactly. Chanting.
The jazz prodigy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right,
right.
guys. Well, have a good night.
Yep.
You too.
You
Have
too.
a good night.